Today you're going to be working on adding and subtracting decimals. I'm going to show you how to use a balance sheet, and what you're going to be doing is you're going to be keeping track of all of the transactions in one account in October. So you'll keep track of any money that's being added to the account, any money that's being subtracted from the account, and then you're going to reach the final balance for October. This will make more sense as I show you this example. So I made this example that's like what you're doing today. You'll start like I am with putting in your first and your last name. And then here's our first example. Our first example is an Eno hammock. It reads, your account balance is $25.18 on September 1st. On September 2nd, you buy an Eno hammock for $49.95 from REI. So take a look. On the balance sheet, this is the balance sheet. It says on September 1st, your starting account balance was $25.18. Now notice, there's no decimal value here. This line down the middle separates the dollars from the cents, so you don't have to put a decimal there. I also want to show you that this column here is the payment amount. So if you're paying someone else, basically when you're subtracting from the account, the money is being used, it goes in this column. This is like, I think of this as when you put money here, you're taking it away. It's like a negative. Over here it says deposit amount. So deposit means you're putting in money to the account. So if you make money or if someone gives you money, this is the column that it goes in. I like to think of this as the positive column because you're increasing your account in this column. So now that we've learned that and we've read this information, I'm going to go ahead and start writing down the work for this problem. So you started out with $25.18 and then you decided to buy an Eno hammock. So you're going to be subtracting $49.95 from your account, which doesn't really make sense because you only have $25.18 in your account. So this is not a good thing. You must not have realized how little money you had in your account. You're not paying attention to the amount of money in your account. So let's go ahead and change this. Well, I'm going to pick a different color. Change this to addition. So I add the opposite. So this can now be written as $25.18 plus a negative $49.95. Now that this is addition, I can use my addition rules. Signs are different, we subtract. Now, when you're subtracting, you need to put the one that is larger in terms of absolute value. The absolute value of negative $49.95 is $49.95. Remember, absolute value is distance from zero, and basically, since distance from zero is positive, it makes the number positive. So now that this number is positive, you can compare it to this number, and the $49.95 is actually larger. So we put $49.95 at the top, and then we subtract the $25.18, so we can find the difference between these two numbers. 5 minus 8, I'm going to need to borrow, so I make this an 8, and I add 10 to the 5, making it 15. 15 minus 8 is 7, 8 minus 1 is 7, I bring down the decimal. 9 minus 5 is 4, and 4 minus 2 is 2. Now let's say that I'm not really paying attention, and I write $24.77, and then I read, what is your new account balance after you purchase the hammock? Okay, $24.77, and then I just type that in. Well, when I click next, it will not let me go on, so I have to get this correct. So I can read this little help section here, or I can say, I didn't really read the directions and go back to the directions. The directions say, do not use a $sign and include 2 decimal places in your answer. If your answer is negative, you need to include a negative sign. Now that triggers my thinking. Okay, so if I look back, which did I have more of? Negatives or positives? And I had more negatives. Remember, I spent more money than I had in my account, so I'm actually in the hole $24.77. I didn't even have enough money. So my issue is that I didn't put a negative sign here. Okay, and look, now it allows me to go on to the next section. For spending more money than you had in your account, you are charged a $15 overdraft fee on September 2nd. So this is often what happens at your bank when you overdraft and you spend more than you have. They're going to charge you a $15 fee. So I'm starting from the negative $24.77, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract $15 more. So then I'm going to change this to addition. So I add the opposite. So now this reads negative $24.77 plus negative $15. Now that it's addition, I use my addition rules. Signs are the same, you add. So I'm just going to put the larger number on top in terms of absolute value. I have to, when I'm adding and subtracting decimals, line up the decimals. So with this 15, I'm going to have to add 2 zeros so that the decimals line up. 7 and 0 is 7, 7 and 0 is 7, 4 and 5 is 9, and 2 and 1 is 3. So now I'm in the hole $39.77. This is not looking good. $39.77. Let's see if I was correct. And I was. Look, I get to move on to the next section. This is titled Allowance. You convinced your dad on September 3rd to give you your $40 allowance early so that you will not keep getting overdraft fees. Okay, so notice this $49.95 was in the payment column because I had to pay for the hammock. The $15 was in the payment column because we had to pay the bank an extra $15 for overdrafting the account. Basically, the bank is letting us borrow money, so they're going to charge an overdraft fee. So now your dad is giving you an allowance of $40. That's going to go in the deposit section because we're actually adding money to the account. So then I come over here and I started at negative $39.77, and I'm going to be adding to the account. So I started at negative $39.77, and then I'm adding the $40 that my dad gave me. So signs are different. You subtract and you put the larger number on top in terms of absolute value. So 40.00 minus the $39.77. So I need to borrow, so I'm going to cross out the 4 and make it a 3 and add 10 to 0. Then I'll cross that out, make it a 9, make this a 10, cross that out, make it a 9, I have to keep borrowing, and then finally that 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 7 is 3, 9 minus 7 is 2, and then 9 minus 9 is 0, and 3 minus 3 is 0. So I end up with 23 cents in my account. So I come over here to fill this in, and I type in 23 cents. And it says, congratulations, you found the correct final account balance. So look, the $40 went in the deposit amount on September 3rd, and then I ended up with a final account balance of 23 cents, which is not much, but it's better than being negative. And then I'm finished. I found the final account balance, so I hit submit. And hopefully that will help you with your work today. Again, you're working on adding and subtracting with decimals, and you're going to have a balance sheet just like the one I showed you. So hopefully this video will help you to be successful on your work today.